chief financial officer, walked into the room and said, "I'm leaving. I'm out of here. You guys are going to be bankrupt in 3 months and you're done. So I'm leaving." He didn't even give notice, anything. He just walked right out of the room. We call that moment cashpocalypse, because it was like, that was like a real moment where we didn't know if we were going to make it, but we had plenty of different crises.
It's Jordan Mulligan from the Mulliganbrothers, and today's video is with Aubrey talking about his journey to success. Today's video was sponsored by betterhelp.com, where you can get professional online therapy, something I have been doing for my last year, I would say, and it's been something that I have found so amazing. It's been a spiritual journey for myself, so I do recommend it. And also it is sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Inspire Change t-shirts and support all of this. Hit comment, like, subscribe. Before that, let's jump into Aubrey's journey to success.
Do you remember a specific moment for yourself that was like the start of the entrepreneurship? Do you remember, like, whether it's selling sweets at school or whatever that was it one of those moments for yourself?
Yeah, a lot of people have these, like, I was at a lemonade stand and I outsold. I didn't do any of that. Really, I started with marketing, and I was helping other entrepreneurs sell their products, and I did all kinds of different things, from public markets in the energy sector to nutraceuticals and skincare to all kinds of different products, and we could go down all kinds of different rabbit holes of the other things I help people sell. It taught me what the consumer actually wanted, and then how to deliver something that they would be able to understand what the benefits were for that. So in a way, you know, I had a little marketing company, but that wasn't really entrepreneurial. That was really just me and a couple of people helping me help other people figure things out. And then I first started to try and make my own stuff, and there wasn't a lot of success, not even with ONNIT, which ultimately became a titanic success. Initially, the first 2 products I came out with, which were basically hangover supplements, it failed. You know, I raised little over $100,000 from just 2 close friends and family, and basically wasted it all, and was down to the last bit of money that I had. Made a pivot, created Alpha Brain, the nootropic, partnered with Joe Rogan, and that was the start. And we never took on additional capital from there in growing our business over the next 10 years. Of course, that was the success. There was other failures. I also had a men's nail polish company because I was friends with a lot of fighters, and I saw them painting their nails. I was like, we need to make one of these for men. And that didn't do so good. So there was the successes and there was the failures. But ultimately, when it came down to ONNIT, it was really about making stuff that I would really love.
So with ONNIT or any of the other companies, was there a moment, like in fact, let's go with ONNIT, like a low moment where you was like, it's like breakpoint, or it was like, do you remember a difficult time?
I remember countless difficult times. And in fact, I made every time more difficult than the other, because even when things were working, I was so stressed about what the next fail point might be. And I think that's part of the game. Like, part of the game is to see every risk and play out every scenario where it's going to fail, and live that scenario and try to circumvent and prevent that reality from happening. It's what the Stoics called premeditation, right? It's like going through and understanding how every single way this beautiful thing that you're creating could be destroyed. And so I lived in that reality for a long time, but we had plenty of different crises. You know, one crisis in particular, we were really close to taking on an investment partner, got to the 1-yard line, distributed all of our working capital because we thought we were going to get a bunch of money in. The deal failed at the last moment. And actually, our chief financial officer walked into the room and said, "I'm leaving. I'm out of here. You guys are going to be bankrupt in 3 months and you're done. So I'm leaving." He didn't even give notice, anything. He just walked right out of the room. We call that moment cashpocalypse, because it was like, that was like a real moment where we didn't know if we were going to make it. But I always had faith, because I had faith because we'd always treated our vendors right. We treated our customers right. And all of those relationships where we'd really treated everybody right, our employees, everybody around us, they stood by us in that really hard time, and we were able to make it through.
Do you remember the point where you felt we'd reached success with ONNIT? Like, we'd got over that curve, you know, like where it wasn't like, it was more tangible to yourself?
I mean, the first point where the sales really picked up, you know, and the sales felt like they were effortless, like I wasn't grinding for each one, it was like we went from headwind to tailwind. I mean, that was a powerful moment. Of course, building out the infrastructure at that point, that became its own challenge. Like who's gonna help in this department, in this department, in this department, logistics and fulfillment and supply and all of these. So we had a bunch of generalists that we hired, just people who could do many different things, and eventually had to replace all those generalists with specialists, with real experts in each different category. So I could tell that we had something successful when the sales started flowing easily. But there was never really a point where I ever felt like, man, we made it. You know, it always felt to me precarious, probably until I got to the point where things were so smooth, I was able to step down as CEO of ONNIT and hand it over to an incredibly capable CEO who could actually do the job that I was doing better than I could. Not because of necessarily his aptitude, but his willingness to stay in there, put in those 10 to 12-hour days and actually be the CEO. And so it was a really easy choice. A lot of people said, was it hard to step down? No, it wasn't. It was like the delight of my life to be able to step down, still offer my genius, still offer my inspiration, my leadership, but to have somebody else really man the ship. That was the point where it was like, wow, I think we got something that's really stable here.
I just want to take it back to when you first reached that success, or perceived success from other people. And, you know, as an ambitious young man, playing basketball, having ambitions of, you know, becoming whatever you wanted to be, to finally achieving that, how did you manage materialism and buying into sort of what everybody else would have bought into? Is it something that you did at the time? And from that, how do you manage it now? Like, how do you not get attached now? Or if you do get attached now, like, I'd love to know your opinions on it.
One of the things that I'm the most interested in now, and I'm actually looking at to write my next book about, is a clarification of desire. Like, what do you really want? And I've asked that question to myself, what do I really want? If I want a new watch, well, why do I want that new watch? Do I love it because I love the chronography? I love how intricately detailed it is. And is it just beautiful? Okay, I think that's a good reason to buy something. If you really love something because it's beautiful and you love it, great. Same with a car, same with anything else. Like, the allurement to something beautiful that you appreciate, I think is a virtue. But if you're doing it because you're imagining that other people looking at you are gonna think that you're cool, or that you're gonna be able to show off your wealth and it's gonna give you some kind of status, well, that's a game of the ego. That's putting yourself in hierarchy with other people for some advantage. And so what do you really want from that? Well, you want people to approve of you. You want to be loved. You want to be seen. You want something else other than the watch. And the watch will never get you what you want. So you're actually trying to fill a need with something external that really you need to look inside and fill internally with your own self-love and your own understanding of your own worth. So when it comes to what I want to buy and what I want to create, it's more of a question of why do I want it and which part of me wants it? And as long as I can answer that question, then let's go.
What are you looking to do now? Like, so you've stepped away from ONNIT as CEO, but you offer it, you still give it the input, but like, what are your goals now, like ambitions right at the moment?
I sold ONNIT. ONNIT is sold. I'm also not CEO, and I'm also not the owner, but it's still my flesh and blood. It's still a part of me. Like, you will never be able to get the ONNIT out of me or the me out of ONNIT. And we're inextricable. So next, what's next? I'm really in a process of deep listening to, what does the world want now? Because again, the world has given me so much. Like, my gratitude towards the world it's an impossible amount to make up for, because the world has been so gracious to me every step of the way. Yeah, I've had my hardships. Yeah, the car accidents and the heartbreaks and the sure, the deaths of people who I was close to, my father, suffering from his mental condition and leaving my ability to interact with him when I was 30. Yeah, all right, sure. But overwhelmingly, it's gratitude. So really a big part of my question about what's next is what does the world want from me? How can I be of greatest service? Because I gotta, you know, it almost feels like I got a debt to repay. I've been given so much. One of the answers to that is a coaching group and a community we created called Fit for Service, where we bring people through different programs that help them access their own self-sovereignty, this own level of introspection, that help them ask the right questions about themselves. We're not trying to give anybody answers. We're just helping them ask the right questions and find people and peers who can support them in their own journey. And that's been an incredibly rewarding process. So if anybody's curious about that, it's just called Fit for Service. And writing and podcasting and doing all the things that I love. And again, just a deep listening. Like, okay, like world, I'm here. Like, again, I'm here, Mama Earth. Like, I'm here. Like, what do you need from me? Like, I got you. Like, thank you for everything. I got you. I'll fight for you. I'll fight for you to the fucking end.
And there you go. Aubrey Marcus, what an incredible story he has of, for me, balancing a spiritual element and a business element and making them sort of work in cohesion in such a perfect way. He is, for me, a image of a person that I look towards for sort of trying to find that balance, which is very, very difficult to do in the business world, and he does a fantastic job of it. So go follow him on Instagram as well and follow what he gets up to. He has loads of different stuff coming out, so go check it out. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @JordanMulliganbrother. And also today's video was sponsored by BetterHelp, a professional therapy that's available online, link down below, which I 100% wholeheartedly recommend. My last year I've had weekly therapy online every single week, and it's been something that's been absolutely amazing for me. And also today's video was sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can buy the Inspire Change t-shirts. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.